Doctor warns, if you're 60 to 80, stop doing these 3 things immediately. They're silently destroying your health. As we age, it becomes more important than ever to remain physically active. Yet one of the most dangerous and silent health destroyers for people between the ages of 60 and 80 is a sedentary lifestyle. Sitting for prolonged periods may seem harmless, especially during retirement when the rush of daily work has faded. But research has shown that a sedentary lifestyle is directly linked to a host of chronic health problems, including cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, and even cognitive decline. A major study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that seniors who sit for more than 8 hours a day are at a 46% higher risk of early death compared to their more active peers. What makes this especially concerning is that even if you do some light activity once in a while, it may not be enough to counteract the damage done by hours of inactivity. The human body was designed for movement, and when we don't move, systems begin to break down. Our circulation slows, our muscles weaken, and even our lymphatic system, which plays a crucial role in immune function, becomes sluggish. Blood clots in the legs or deep vein thrombosis are more likely in people who sit for extended periods, particularly in those over 60. And let's not forget bone health. Osteoporosis progresses faster in sedentary individuals, making falls far more dangerous. What many seniors don't realize is that small changes can have a huge impact. Simply standing up and walking around for 5 minutes every hour can improve circulation and reduce the risks of blood pooling in the legs. Even low-impact activities like gardening, walking the dog, or using a light resistance band while watching television can stimulate muscle fibers and prevent atrophy. It's also worth noting that sedentary behavior doesn't just harm the body, it affects the brain. Numerous studies, including one from UCLA, have shown that extended sitting is associated with thinning in the brain regions linked to memory. Movement, on the other hand, stimulates the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, a protein essential for neuroplasticity and memory retention. If you've ever noticed feeling foggy or forgetful after a long day of inactivity, there's a biological reason for that. Many seniors make the mistake of thinking that rest is always best, especially when joints ache or energy feels low. But paradoxically, gentle movement can actually reduce chronic pain and boost vitality. Physical therapists often recommend chair yoga or water aerobics for older adults because these forms of exercise are both gentle and incredibly effective. In fact, a 12-week study published in Age and Aging found that elderly adults who participated in aquatic exercises 3 times a week experienced significant improvements in both balance and muscle strength. Balance is a critical point here. Many falls that result in serious injury occur not because of sudden trauma, but because the body has lost its ability to adjust and recover. Staying active helps retrain the body's equilibrium and muscle responsiveness. And it's not just about avoiding bad outcomes. Staying mobile adds quality to life. People report better moods, more social interaction, and a stronger sense of purpose when they incorporate movement into their daily routines. A common myth is that if you haven't been active your whole life, starting in your 70s or 80s won't help. But that's simply not true. A study conducted by the National Institute on Aging found that older adults who began exercising later in life still showed dramatic improvements in mobility, mood, and independence. The idea is not to run marathons, but to be consistent with light activity throughout the day. Tools like step counters or wearable fitness trackers can help remind you to move regularly, and many even include safe-guided exercise routines tailored for older users. Another tip: pair movement with daily habits. For example, march in place while brushing your teeth, or do a few stretches while waiting for your morning coffee to brew. These moments add up and create a lifestyle shift. Seniors who commit to these microactivities are often surprised by how much energy returns to their day. It's also beneficial to take walks in natural settings, parks, gardens, or tree-lined paths, because exposure to greenery has been linked to lower cortisol levels and improved mental clarity. Group activities like joining a walking club or attending a local senior fitness class also offer accountability and a chance to socialize, which further supports mental well-being. Many communities offer free or low-cost senior programs that focus on safe, age-appropriate exercises. Resistance training with light weights is another powerful way to maintain muscle mass and bone density. Just 2 sessions a week have shown significant benefits in seniors. Always consult your physician before beginning any new exercise regimen, especially if you have underlying health conditions. but know that in nearly all cases, some form of activity is recommended and beneficial. Another danger of a sedentary lifestyle is how it can sneak up slowly. One skipped walk leads to another, then a week of inactivity turns into a habit, and the body starts to decondition. It's never too late to interrupt that pattern and reintroduce movement, no matter how gentle. Even stretching first thing in the morning helps improve circulation and flexibility. Make your home environment more movement-friendly by placing commonly used items on different levels so you naturally have to stretch or bend during the day. If standing is difficult, try seated leg lifts or arm circles while watching TV. Every small motion helps protect against the cascade of health problems triggered by immobility. If you're between 60 and 80, now is the time to stop underestimating how harmful sitting can be. Staying active is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal to maintain independence, cognitive sharpness, and physical vitality. Don't let inactivity silently rob you of the vibrant years ahead. Take steps, literally and figuratively, to reclaim your health starting today. One of the most overlooked threats to senior health is poor sleep hygiene, a silent saboteur that weakens the immune system, impairs cognition, and accelerates biological aging in individuals between the ages of 60 and 80. While many seniors assume that waking frequently during the night or rising unusually early is just a normal part of aging, sleep experts now warn that these changes are not only disruptive, they're dangerous when left unaddressed. The National Institute on Aging reports that adults over 60 need between 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. Yet more than 40% of seniors don't achieve this consistently. Fragmented sleep has been linked to higher rates of memory loss, mood disorders like depression and anxiety, and even increased risk for Alzheimer's disease. When sleep is shallow or interrupted, the brain fails to enter deep restorative phases such as REM and slow-wave sleep, both of which are critical for memory consolidation and emotional regulation. Moreover, poor sleep contributes to chronic inflammation, often referred to as inflammaging, a low-grade inflammation that silently underpins many age-related diseases. Elevated nighttime cortisol levels due to restless nights can also raise blood pressure, disrupt blood sugar control, and increase belly fat factors that sharply raise the risk of stroke, diabetes, and heart disease. Perhaps more alarming is how disrupted sleep impairs balance and reaction time, significantly raising fall risk, which is one of the leading causes of injury and death in older adults. Seniors who get less than 6 hours of sleep per night are 1.5 times more likely to experience a fall than those who get adequate rest, according to a study in Sleep Health. The culprit behind poor sleep is often a combination of behavioral habits and environmental factors, like consuming caffeine too late in the day, long afternoon naps, or exposure to blue light from screens in the evening. Even something as seemingly harmless as reading on a tablet before bed can suppress melatonin, the hormone that signals the body to prepare for sleep. Creating a consistent bedtime routine is one of the most powerful tools to improve sleep quality, starting with setting the same sleep and wake times every day, even on weekends. Dimming lights in the evening and avoiding stimulating content before bed helps tell the body it's time to wind down. Seniors should also avoid alcohol close to bedtime, as it may make you feel drowsy initially but often causes early awakenings and fragmented sleep later in the night. Additionally, the sleep environment itself plays a massive role in regulating circadian rhythms. Bedrooms should be dark, cool, and quiet, and blackout curtains or white noise machines can be invaluable. Studies show that exposure to natural daylight, especially early in the day, helps regulate melatonin production and improves sleep efficiency at night. For this reason, a short morning walk or even sitting by a sunny window with your morning coffee can yield significant benefits. Mindful breathing exercises, gentle evening stretches, or listening to calming music can also lower heart rate and prepare the body for rest. Seniors who experience chronic sleep problems should avoid over-relying on sleep medications, which can have dangerous side effects like confusion, dizziness, or dependence. Instead, non-pharmaceutical options like cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, are now considered the gold standard and are highly effective. Melatonin supplements can be helpful in some cases but should only be used under medical supervision, as dosage and timing are critical to avoid further disruption. If you're someone who wakes in the middle of the night, experts recommend not lying in bed awake for more than 20 minutes. Get up, do something quiet and relaxing in dim light, then return to bed when sleepy again. Another powerful but underused technique is journaling before bedtime. By writing down thoughts or worries, you allow the mind to unload and reduce nighttime rumination. For those with joint pain or restless leg syndrome, which often worsens sleep in seniors, adjustable beds or supportive pillows can provide much-needed relief. Likewise, avoiding heavy meals within 3 hours of bedtime can prevent indigestion and acid reflux, both common causes of nighttime awakenings. Hydration is important, but it's wise to taper off fluid intake in the evening to minimize overnight trips to the bathroom. Regular daytime activity, including light exercise, has been shown to enhance the depth and continuity of sleep, so movement during the day feeds into better rest at night. Poor sleep also dulls immune response, making older adults more susceptible to infections and slower to recover from illness. Over time, chronic sleep deprivation erodes not just physical health but quality of life. It saps energy, affects mood, and makes daily tasks feel more difficult than they are. Fortunately, sleep is one of the most modifiable health behaviors, and small changes often yield big rewards. Seniors who prioritize sleep often report feeling more alert, balanced, and emotionally stable during the day, with improved concentration and fewer memory lapses. Even caregivers notice the difference. Well-rested seniors are more engaged, more communicative, and more capable of enjoying the routines of daily life. When you think of sleep not as an indulgence but as medicine, free, side-effect-free, and profoundly restorative, it becomes clear just how vital it is to protect it. If you're between 60 and 80, now is the time to stop dismissing restless nights as inevitable and start treating sleep as a cornerstone of your wellness plan. After all, healing doesn't just happen during doctor visits. It happens every night when the body is allowed to rest, restore, and rejuvenate. Overmedication is an invisible crisis affecting millions of seniors, often without them even realizing it, and for those between the ages of 60 and 80, it can be a silent health destroyer that undermines the very quality of life they are trying to protect. As we age, it's natural to accumulate prescriptions, blood pressure medications, statins, sleep aids, painkillers, antacids, antidepressants, but many seniors end up taking 5, 10, or even more medications daily, a phenomenon known as polypharmacy. According to the CDC, nearly 40% of adults aged 65 and older take 5 or more prescription drugs regularly, and that doesn't even include over-the-counter remedies or supplements. While each medication may be justified in isolation, the interaction of multiple drugs can produce dangerous side effects, from confusion and dizziness to severe organ stress, especially on the kidneys and liver. One of the most common and underreported effects of polypharmacy is cognitive impairment. Many seniors mistakenly believe their forgetfulness or mental fog is due to aging, when in fact it may be the result of drug interactions or medication overload. Anticholinergic drugs, for example, found in many common allergy, sleep, and bladder medications, have been shown to increase the risk of dementia when taken over time. Moreover, sedatives like benzodiazepines, often prescribed for anxiety or insomnia, are linked to increased falls, fractures, and emergency room visits. Even non-prescription medications like NSAIDs, such as ibuprofen, can elevate blood pressure, increase bleeding risk, and cause stomach ulcers when used frequently or in combination with blood thinners. What's particularly troubling is that seniors are often prescribed new medications to treat the side effects of previous ones, creating a snowball effect that becomes difficult to reverse. This is known as the prescribing cascade, where one drug causes a symptom that gets misdiagnosed as a new condition, leading to even more prescriptions. Unfortunately, routine medical visits can become rushed, and medication reviews are often neglected, especially when seniors see multiple specialists who may not be communicating with each other. A cardiologist may not know what a neurologist has prescribed, and the primary care doctor might be unaware of recent changes in dosage or new supplements a patient has started on their own. Seniors should know that it is not only acceptable but recommended to schedule a comprehensive medication review at least once a year, preferably with a pharmacist or geriatric specialist trained to spot problematic combinations. Simplifying medication routines by eliminating unnecessary drugs can lead to dramatic improvements in energy, mood, and mental clarity. Many seniors report feeling like themselves again after deprescribing initiatives. It's also critical to understand that the body metabolizes drugs differently with age. What worked fine at 50 may be too strong or linger too long in the system at 70. Kidney function naturally declines over time, affecting how the body clears medications, while body fat increases, altering how drugs are stored and released. This makes seniors especially vulnerable to side effects even at standard dosages. One study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that nearly 30% of hospital admissions in seniors are linked to adverse drug reactions, many of which could have been prevented. Empowering yourself with knowledge is the first step. Keep an updated list of all medications, including vitamins and supplements, and bring it to every appointment. Ask whether each medication is still necessary, what it's treating, and whether there are lifestyle changes that could replace or reduce your need for pharmaceuticals. Diet, physical activity, stress reduction techniques, and even sleep optimization can help manage conditions like high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, or mild depression, often reducing reliance on medication. Also be cautious of mail-order supplements and unregulated natural remedies, which can interfere with prescription medications and are not always safe for older adults. If you notice new symptoms after starting a medication like drowsiness, balance problems, or memory changes, do not assume it's just part of aging. Speak up, and if needed, seek a second opinion. Pharmacogenetic testing is an emerging tool that can show how your body uniquely processes drugs, helping doctors fine-tune dosages or avoid ineffective or harmful medications altogether. Family members and caregivers can play a crucial role by helping monitor medication adherence, organizing pills into daily packs, and observing for side effects. Another critical point is the importance of not abruptly stopping medications without guidance. Some drugs, like beta blockers or antidepressants, must be tapered gradually under supervision. For seniors living in assisted facilities or receiving home care, make sure the caregiving team is trained in medication management and aware of any recent changes. Even common mistakes, like taking a medication at the wrong time of day or on an empty stomach, can reduce its effectiveness or cause unnecessary harm. Remember, medications should improve your quality of life, not diminish it. A life filled with pills, side effects, and frequent ER visits is not the inevitable price of aging. It's often the result of unchecked overprescribing. Taking a proactive role in managing your medication is an act of self-preservation, and with the right information, support, and medical partnership, you can reduce your pharmaceutical burden and reclaim control over your health. If you're between 60 and 80, stop accepting overmedication as your fate and start asking the hard questions. It's not just about taking fewer pills, it's about taking your life back one thoughtful decision at a time. Processed foods are among the most pervasive and dangerous elements in modern diets, and for seniors aged 60 to 80, their regular consumption poses a serious, often underestimated threat to long-term health. These foods, convenient, shelf-stable, and often tasty, are packed with preservatives, artificial colors, unhealthy fats, high levels of sodium, and added sugars, all of which wreak havoc on an aging body's delicate internal balance. Many older adults turn to processed options like frozen meals, canned soups, deli meats, packaged snacks, and sugary breakfast cereals for ease, especially when cooking becomes burdensome. But these quick fixes can silently accelerate inflammation, weight gain, cognitive decline, and chronic illness. One of the most alarming findings in recent years comes from a study published in BMJ which showed that higher intake of ultra-processed foods was linked to a significantly increased risk of all-cause mortality, especially in older populations. Sodium is a major culprit, as high-salt diets contribute directly to hypertension, a condition already common in older adults and a leading cause of stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for seniors. Yet one frozen TV dinner alone can contain nearly that amount. Excessive sugar is another silent assailant found in processed foods. Added sugars not only spike blood glucose levels, exacerbating type 2 diabetes, but they also contribute to fatty liver disease, arterial inflammation, and even cognitive deterioration. A diet high in sugar has been linked to smaller brain volumes and poorer memory function, particularly in regions like the hippocampus, which is critical for learning and recall. Trans fats, once common in margarine and many baked goods, have largely been banned in several countries due to their link to heart disease. But some processed products still contain trace amounts under misleading labels like partially hydrogenated oils. The problem is compounded by the fact that the older we get, the less efficient our metabolism becomes, meaning the body is slower to process and eliminate the harmful additives found in these foods. Processed meals often lack essential nutrients, vitamins, minerals, fiber, and antioxidants, which are crucial for protecting against disease and maintaining energy, bone strength, and immune function. Over time, relying on such nutrient-deficient diets can lead to conditions like anemia, osteoporosis, and immunodeficiency, making seniors more vulnerable to infections and falls. Fiber, which is often stripped from processed foods, plays a key role in gut health, and studies show that a healthy gut microbiome can reduce inflammation, boost mood, and even protect against neurodegeneration. A 2021 study in Nature found a strong correlation between gut diversity and overall resilience in aging, and diets rich in fiber from whole foods were shown to significantly increase microbial diversity. Conversely, artificial additives and emulsifiers found in processed products can disrupt gut bacteria, leading to symptoms like bloating, constipation, and increased susceptibility to autoimmune issues. The glycemic load of most processed foods causes dramatic blood sugar swings, which contribute not only to fatigue and irritability but also long-term insulin resistance. Many seniors struggle with managing their blood glucose and may not realize that their morning instant oatmeal packet or so-called healthy granola bar is packed with more sugar than a candy bar. Food marketing often misleads consumers with buzzwords like low-fat, gluten-free, or heart-healthy, when in reality the product is heavily processed and nutritionally poor. Eating these foods day in and day out trains the palate to prefer overly salty or sweet flavors, making real whole foods like fresh vegetables or lean proteins seem bland by comparison. This taste desensitization becomes a trap that makes dietary change more difficult the longer it persists. Furthermore, processed foods are linked to mood instability and depression. A groundbreaking study published in Public Health Nutrition found that individuals who consumed the highest amount of ultra-processed food had a 33% higher risk of depression, and this effect was even more pronounced in seniors. For those on fixed incomes, it's understandable to reach for cheap, packaged items, but with some planning, healthy eating on a budget is entirely possible. Bulk legumes, frozen vegetables, brown rice, eggs, oats, and seasonal produce are all affordable and nourishing. Batch cooking and using slow cookers can simplify meal prep and make whole foods more accessible. Reading ingredient labels is also crucial. If you can't pronounce half the ingredients or the list is longer than a paragraph, that's a red flag. Look for whole, minimally processed options with short ingredient lists and no artificial additives. Replace sugary cereals with plain oats topped with fruit and nuts. Swap out salty canned soups for homemade broth-based versions, and choose fresh or frozen fruits instead of packaged snacks. Making these small substitutions adds up quickly, improving digestion, stabilizing energy levels, and supporting healthy aging. Seniors who transition away from processed foods often report clearer thinking, better bowel movements, more stable blood pressure, and improved sleep. Even modest dietary changes can help reduce inflammation markers in the body, which are known contributors to heart disease, arthritis, and neurodegeneration. Social support can also make a big difference. Consider joining local healthy cooking classes, community-supported agriculture, CSA, programs, or senior nutrition groups that promote whole food education. It's not about perfection, but about awareness and intention. Eating processed food occasionally won't destroy your health, but eating it as a primary source of nutrition certainly can. If you're between 60 and 80, this is the time to stop relying on processed convenience and start nourishing your body with real, life-giving foods. The effort may seem daunting at first, but the rewards are profound. More energy, sharper memory, stronger immunity, and a greater sense of vitality that can transform your daily experience. The kitchen becomes not a burden, but a place of healing, where every meal is an opportunity to build resilience from the inside out. One of the most crucial yet frequently neglected elements of senior health is strength and balance training, and for adults aged 60 to 80, ignoring this area of fitness can silently fast-track a decline into frailty, loss of independence, and increased risk of injury. While many older individuals prioritize walking or light cardio, which certainly has its benefits, they often overlook the essential role of maintaining muscular strength and balance stability, both of which are critical for aging gracefully and safely. Muscle mass naturally declines with age, a condition known as sarcopenia, and this process begins as early as our 30s, accelerating sharply after the age of 60 if not actively countered through resistance-based exercises. According to the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia and Muscle, older adults can lose up to 8% of their muscle mass each decade, and this loss affects everything from mobility and posture to metabolism and immune resilience. Without strong muscles, even simple tasks like rising from a chair, climbing stairs, or carrying groceries become increasingly difficult, leading to reduced activity levels and a vicious cycle of further weakness. Moreover, balance deteriorates alongside strength, contributing to one of the most devastating outcomes for seniors: falls. The CDC reports that 1 in 4 Americans over the age of 65 falls each year, and falls are the leading cause of both fatal and non-fatal injuries in this age group. But here's the good news. Falls are not an inevitable part of aging. They are largely preventable with the right training and awareness. Balance training improves proprioception, the body's ability to sense its position in space, which helps prevent missteps and allows quicker reflexes when stumbles occur. Simple exercises like standing on one foot, heel-to-toe walking, or gentle Tai Chi movements can significantly enhance balance over time. Resistance training using body weight, resistance bands, light dumbbells, or even water resistance in a pool helps maintain and build lean muscle, supports joint health, and strengthens bones. This becomes even more critical in the context of osteoporosis, a condition that affects nearly 50% of women and 25% of men over 70, making bones more fragile and susceptible to fractures. Weight-bearing exercises stimulate bone remodeling and can slow or even reverse bone density loss, especially in areas like the hips, spine, and wrists. Additionally, building strength improves blood sugar control, supports healthy weight, boosts metabolic rate, and reduces symptoms of arthritis by stabilizing joints. Many seniors mistakenly fear that strength training is dangerous or too intense for their age, but research overwhelmingly shows that tailored programs, even in individuals over 80, can yield dramatic improvements in strength, balance, and daily function. In fact, a study in the Journal of Gerontology found that seniors who participated in just 2 sessions of strength training per week saw a 30% reduction in fall risk and a significant increase in mobility within just 3 months. The key is starting slow, using proper form, and progressing gradually under the guidance of a physical therapist or trained fitness professional if needed. Even exercises done in a seated position like leg extensions, bicep curls, or seated marches can build muscle safely. It's also essential to work on core stability, as a strong core helps protect the lower back and supports almost every movement we make. Functional training, which mimics everyday movements like reaching, lifting, or bending, has been shown to increase confidence in daily tasks and improve overall coordination. Many community centers, YMCAs, and senior-focused gyms offer classes specifically designed for older adults, and these can be both a social outlet and a motivational support system. Including flexibility and stretching exercises in your routine further enhances balance and reduces injury risk by keeping joints mobile and muscles supple. Yoga and Pilates offer excellent low-impact options that combine strength, balance, and flexibility in one practice, and both have been shown to improve mental focus and reduce stress. The psychological benefits of strength and balance training are also notable. Regular physical activity releases endorphins that combat depression and anxiety, conditions that often increase with age due to isolation or declining health. Seniors who engage in resistance and balance activities report higher self-esteem, a greater sense of independence, and lower incidences of hospitalization. These gains go far beyond vanity or physical appearance. They translate to practical capabilities, like being able to get off the floor unassisted, carry your own groceries, or play actively with grandchildren. Too often, seniors don't realize they're losing strength and balance until an injury forces them to notice. But by then, recovery is slower and more difficult. The time to act is now, while you still have the agency to build and protect your body's resilience. No matter your current fitness level, there is a safe starting point for everyone, and consistent effort will produce measurable results. If you're new to exercise, begin with short sessions, just 10 minutes a day, and gradually increase frequency and intensity as you feel stronger. Make movement part of your routine by incorporating it into daily habits, like doing wall push-ups while waiting for the microwave or calf raises while brushing your teeth. These small, consistent actions build momentum and form the foundation of a more active, capable lifestyle. Strength and balance are not luxuries for the elderly. They are necessities for preserving freedom, autonomy, and dignity in the later years of life. If you are between 60 and 80, do not accept weakness or imbalance as your destiny. Take control, start small, and stay consistent. Your body is capable of more than you think, and with the right approach, every year can bring new vitality instead of decline. Protect your strength, protect your balance, and in doing so, protect the future you deserve. Mental health is often treated as a secondary concern in senior wellness, yet its influence on physical health is profound, especially for those between the ages of 60 and 80 who are navigating major life changes such as retirement, loss of loved ones, reduced mobility, or social isolation. Too many seniors silently struggle with anxiety, depression, loneliness, or chronic stress, unaware that these emotional burdens are not only deeply impactful psychologically, but are also directly linked to physical decline. Studies have shown that untreated depression in older adults is associated with increased risk for heart disease, weakened immune response, chronic inflammation, poor wound healing, and even higher mortality rates. The National Institutes of Health reports that approximately 20% of adults over 60 suffer from some form of mental health issue, but many cases go undiagnosed or dismissed as normal aging. Unlike physical ailments, mental health conditions often present subtly in seniors, loss of appetite, fatigue, irritability, or sleep disturbances are frequently misattributed to other causes or ignored entirely. Chronic stress triggers a continuous release of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, which when elevated long-term contributes to high blood pressure, insulin resistance, weight gain, and even memory loss. Research from the University of California found that seniors with prolonged stress had significantly smaller hippocampal volume, the brain region associated with memory and learning, a red flag for cognitive disorders such as Alzheimer's disease. Furthermore, mental health and physical activity are intimately connected. Seniors who experience depressive symptoms are more likely to become sedentary, which then leads to muscle loss, joint stiffness, and higher risk of disease, forming a downward spiral that becomes harder to break over time. The inverse is also true. Improving emotional well-being leads to greater engagement in healthy behaviors, better immune function, and an overall enhanced quality of life. Maintaining mental sharpness isn't just about doing crossword puzzles or playing brain games, although those can be helpful. It's about fostering a life filled with purpose, connection, and self-worth. Social interaction plays a powerful role in preserving both emotional and physical health. Studies have found that seniors who engage regularly with others live longer and have significantly lower rates of depression, cognitive decline, and disability. Isolation, on the other hand, is now considered as dangerous to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, according to a landmark meta-analysis published in Perspectives on Psychological Science. Building a support network, whether through family, friends, community groups, or religious organizations, can be a literal lifeline for aging adults. Volunteering, mentoring, or participating in group activities not only fills time but reinforces a sense of identity and relevance, which is essential for mental resilience. Technology can also bridge gaps in connection. Even basic familiarity with video calls or online forums can help seniors maintain regular contact with loved ones, especially if mobility is limited. But beyond social engagement, inner mental habits like gratitude, optimism, and mindfulness have a measurable impact on physical health. A study from Harvard Health demonstrated that seniors who kept a daily gratitude journal reported fewer doctor visits, less inflammation, and better sleep. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation or deep breathing exercises, help reduce anxiety, lower blood pressure, and improve emotional regulation, and they are accessible to everyone regardless of fitness level or prior experience. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, has also proven effective in older adults, helping them reframe negative thought patterns that often lead to depression and anxiety. And while stigma around mental health persists in some generations, it's crucial to understand that seeking support is not a sign of weakness. It is an essential act of self-care. Primary care doctors can screen for mental health conditions, and geriatric counselors or therapists can offer tailored strategies for coping with grief, role loss, or chronic illness. Even spiritual practices, whether prayer, meditation, or philosophical reflection have shown to boost mood and provide comfort during times of uncertainty. The brain remains adaptable well into old age, a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity, meaning it's never too late to build new mental habits that promote well-being. Laughter, music, time in nature, or simply engaging in meaningful conversations can lift mood and rewire the brain for positivity. Many seniors find emotional fulfillment through creative outlets, art, writing, gardening, or even learning new skills, which stimulate the brain and provide a sense of progress. Mental stimulation through lifelong learning has also been linked to lower risk of dementia. Universities and community colleges often offer free or discounted courses for seniors. It's also worth mentioning the role of nutrition in mental health, as deficiencies in B vitamins, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamin D are associated with mood disorders and cognitive decline. A diet rich in whole foods, lean proteins, colorful vegetables, and healthy fats can stabilize mood and improve mental clarity. Good sleep hygiene, as discussed earlier, also supports emotional balance by allowing the brain to rest and reset each night. In short, protecting mental health isn't just about avoiding breakdowns. It's about cultivating a resilient, engaged mind that continues to grow and adapt with age. If you're between 60 and 80, now is the time to stop ignoring emotional wellness and start treating it as an equal partner in your health journey. Your thoughts, feelings, and relationships have just as much power over your physical health as your blood pressure or cholesterol numbers. Don't let unresolved emotions, isolation, or outdated stigmas slowly erode your vitality. With the right mindset, tools, and support, you can nurture a sense of joy, peace, and purpose that will echo into every corner of your well-being, mentally, emotionally, and physically.